All right. Hello, everyone. We're going to wait a couple more minutes here to allow others to trickle in. If you have a moment, jump into the chat. Let us know where you're coming from or checking in from, and what you guys do, what industry you're involved in, and what your business does. So, hey, Katie.
Hey, how are you? I'm excited to be here. This is our first time in.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. There's a lot of different things that I hope people can get from today. We're going to start with our Fast Five, and then just kind of get into a little bit about who you are, Katie, and who I am, and why we're doing this, and who we look to impact, and the change and environment that we're looking to create here at Hometown Social.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a couple people from around here, a couple people from where we're back, where we're from in Ohio, which is pretty nice to see.
Yeah, and look, we even got someone checking in from California. That's cool. That's cool. Well, yeah. With that, let's go ahead and get started. So, my name's Justin, and I'll be the moderator for these sessions. We're going to get together every Tuesday, 5 o'clock, and then these will also be posted for your viewing on channels like YouTube, and clipped up and placed on our social channels. You can also access this recording after the meeting. We're going to send you guys a link. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do with every meeting is we're going to do the HT Social Fast Five, which is where we go and review the last week of work, Katie and I, and our experiences, and take those and try to break them into either 5 tips, 5 tricks, hacks, insider information, tools, or insights, and give it to you guys in a way where you can apply it or use it moving forward. So, Katie, if you'd like to start, you can go ahead. I know you had some good notes for this week.
Yeah, this week I am focusing on productivity. I think I'm always trying to come up with the best systems to do things in the fastest or most effective way possible, just to save time when things get crazy. Running a business, having your own clients, helping teammates, it gets a little hard to handle sometimes. So some productivity tips can always help things move in the right direction. So one of my favorite things to do, it's also it kind of keeps the day going by quickly, is whenever you have an email or a task from somebody come by on your desk that's a really quick one-off task. I do make sure I do them right when they come through, as long as I'm not in the middle of something that has like a really hard deadline. If not, they do tend to pile up, and some of them are really quick, easy fixes. It also sometimes has to do with something someone needs from you and they can't finish their task until you do this for them really quickly. So that's one of my productivity tips, is the quick one-off tasks. Definitely just knock them out as they come. It makes things less overwhelming, I think, at the end of the day too. Number two, so this is something that I really enjoy doing because I love my clients and I like what they sell too, being in retail. But really becoming intimate with your products can save time in the long run, because it's not like you're recreating the wheel every time you go to make content, or you're constantly devising new business strategies on how to grow something. So the more intimate you are with the product catalog you work with, or whatever it is that your client sells, or whatever services they offer, really treating that business like it's your own and getting into those nitty-gritty details, you'll feel more comfortable and more confident with, all the conversations you have with your clients, but then also in building any kind of marketing materials, which is a lot of what, we do, or just trying to push that needle and make sales growth happen. You definitely have to be intimate with the details. It saves a lot of time in the long run, less back and forth with emails and questions. So that's something that I did a lot more this week for some new product collections. So it's top of mind for me. This is less about productivity and more just about good client management. All kinds of tips and tricks are welcome. So this is something that's been front of mind for me. Just continuing to be really positive in correspondence. There was an email chain that I think could have been a 5-second conversation that turned into like 30 back and forths. Sometimes when it gets into copywriting and content creation, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. But anything with just really, detailed kind of changes that need to be made. But keeping that really positive energy and asking questions versus kind of making statements, I think can really, really help. I was pretty confused with some of the correspondence, but because of the positivity I was able to use the back and forth, I think we actually both grew from the experience and we've got a better line of communication. So I'm glad that that worked out, because if I responded with what I was feeling, I think it could have gone a few different ways. So just keeping really positive, correspondence, I think can help with that as well. Number 4, don't have meetings just to have meetings. So this is one of the most important things to me, because I think I get so in the details that when I go into a meeting, I know what my objectives are. I have an agenda. We need to walk away with these 3 things, and then I'll recap the action items. And this kind of ties into another one. Only have who's absolutely necessary to the meeting be involved with the meeting. So, we're just really sticking to what needs to get discussed on a meeting, who needs to be there, like, who needs to make decisions, and then you can kind of wrap things up, but that way we keep it really productive. And then finally, finish whatever tasks you start. Obviously, there are longer term projects for things, but that way, you get in the habit of not biting off more than you can chew. If you've got a project that takes longer to kind of complete, or it has multiple components, then really narrow down what individual action items can be done for the long term. And that way you don't start more than is possible to complete at one time, because if you have to come back, a couple of days later, or then a few emails get in the way, and then other projects come up, you'll be confused. It won't be like a seamless end to that one task. So it's definitely best, if you do start something, make sure you have enough time to finish it. And once you begin, see it through before the end of the day. It definitely helps kind of keep that stress off your mind and starting the next day with a clear head. So those are my 5, definitely hyper focused on productivity this week. But those are some of my, frontline tips and tricks to keep productivity really rolling.
And learning time management, you definitely have applied all of those strategies. It's fun to watch all of the different components of what you do and how the details matter, and getting those projects done correctly is not something that you can just do yourself. You have to collaborate with other team members and the clients that we work with, and watching you manage those interactions and pull from them what you need and be on point with the meeting for it not to get off track, but also still remain building a connection and enjoying what you do is definitely impressive to me. So I think time management tricks and hacks and tips from you are definitely ones to implement. I actually wrote them down here, and we'll be doing that.
Yeah, no,
Number
and
2.
especially as a lot of us work from home, or we work remotely, wherever you want to work, that doesn't mean you're not, corresponding with tons of other people and working with other teams and bringing new, members into the group. And so having different ways to keep everybody accountable in a very positive manner is more important now than ever. And I'm sure it'll continue to be that way as we continue to work remotely, have the freedom and flexibility of different kinds of workspaces. So, yeah, no, that's great feedback to hear. But I think, not to get into that subject, working remotely due to the pandemic has really put that focus on my productivity, which has been really great, because that's kind of what I love to do. So hopefully that helps. Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and share your fast 5 while we're getting into it?
Yeah. So this week I've done a lot of SEO work for clients. I have a few of them that are optimizing their site, and then we also have a couple leads that had come in, and I was really surprised with the lack of understanding of what SEO is, because of how important it is to a business, especially now where you can go beyond just the traffic, the foot traffic that comes by your site, your location. It's important to be able to pop up when someone's looking for your services or for the information or products that you provide. So SEO is extremely important. I don't need to break it down any more than that if you need to be present on the places where people are looking for you and your services. So my fast 5 today is oriented around SEO. So what is SEO? SEO is search engine optimization. It's really just simply put down as Google, or with what Katie does, an e-commerce platform that has a search bar and has multiple different pieces of information or products available. So think about it this way, is that Google's the best in the world at pairing someone who is asking a question with the answer to that question. So when you think about what Google does in order to make sure that that answer is the best answer, is they break it down by backlinks. They break it down by backlinks. They break it down with internal links and user experience. So those three components are the major drivers of how you rank and how you perform on Google. Again, that's backlinks, internal links, user experience. When you look at the ways that you can optimize those, you want to go with on-site SEO work. So that means going into the site, making sure that your meta descriptions and your H1 tags are all relevant to the products and the services or the information that you have on your site. So you can optimize your SEO and improve your rankings by looking at what content you have on the site currently and improving upon just the structure and internal linking of your site and the content there too. That's one of the ways. The other way is to actually have a content plan. So to continually and create content on your site on a monthly basis. So whether that's blog posts, whether that's video content, or any version of that, if you're adding content to your site, making sure that you are having the right links that go in there, and then focusing on the different questions and answers that you'd like to provide, and then supporting that with a backlink campaign. So content writing is the way for you to improve your SEO long term, and that's the constant strategy to do it in an organic way. If you need to rank for words and phrases and questions that are pretty difficult in your area or really competitive, there is a shortcut, and shortcuts aren't free. That's how Google makes all their money, is through paid per click. So the other way to improve your rankings is going through and starting a paid per click campaign. So we do all of that. We manage each one of the processes that I mentioned before. And specifically in a paid campaign, it allows you to position yourself for key terms, questions, and searches that are heavy on buyer intent, that are competitive with others in your industry who have been doing SEO work for the past 10 years, right? And are, maybe major franchises that have the power and the ability to invest heavily in content writing and backlink campaigns. So pay-per-click allows you to be competitive and narrow it down into your location or into specific search terms that you like to do. So SEO is very important, and especially now more than ever, with being directly compared to your competitors online and being able to easily click back and forth between the items that they're comparing. It's important now more than ever to focus on who you serve, why you serve them, and how you serve them better than anybody else, and make sure that that is consistent in your messaging and in your design. So yeah, those are our fast fives. And I hope you guys got something out of that you can use and enjoy and add to your business. Right now, I'd like to get into either some questions from the group, or I have some questions. Really, I think it's probably more important that Katie and I kind of define who we are, what our experience is, and what we do on a day-to-day basis, and how that impacts who we serve and how we serve them. When I look at some of the questions, I want to start off with Katie, or if you're ready, are you ready for some questions?
Yeah, we can go right into it.
Yeah. So I'll ask you first, and then you can turn around and ask me the same thing. So one of the things I think is important is for you to tell us a little bit about your story and who you are and what it is that you do every day.
What it is that I do every day. This is the big question. No, but so Justin and I are actually brother and sister. We've grown up doing a lot of family business and other endeavors that have all led us back to a lot of sales and marketing, a lot of just business strategy. It's what we grew up around, it's what we like to do, and it's what we find that we're pretty skilled at. So we're fortunate to be able to work together, doing something that we love, doing something that challenges us, doing something that's ever growing in its relevancy. So we're well, I'll speak for myself. I guess I'm feeling pretty blessed to be in that kind of a position. But um, no, I think both of us also have a big sports background that led into some great opportunities for school for me, for example. I know for Justin as well. And from there, we kind of led into the paths that we have now. And I had a lot of great opportunities with internships that taught me a lot about what I want to do and what I don't want to do, which kind of led me to graduate and end up somehow in the land of Amazon, which is what I currently specialize in now. So e-commerce growth, but particularly I manage clients who sell on Amazon and who sell on Walmart.com. And so I spend my day to day building strategies and implementing changes to optimize, all of their processes in any way that I can, whether it's surrounding inventory or their listings and what kind of marketing we're putting out into the world, whether it's on Amazon or on their social media. It's really kind of full tilt. So whatever the client needs, whatever strategy I think is going to push the needle in the right direction, we kind of leave no stone unturned. And so definitely that family business background, that marketing background, sales background has come into play a lot in our day to day. And I spend most of my time doing whatever I can to help our clients grow.
I think, and I'm probably going to echo a lot of what you said when I answer that question to you, but I think what makes us different as a boutique marketing firm is our ability to really buy in to what we're doing and who we're working with. And that makes me want to ask you, what is the difference that makes the difference in what you do and how applying your services to businesses, that difference that makes the difference?
I think the difference that makes the difference is owning a business and being an entrepreneur. Whichever client becomes one of the clients that you work closely with, you feel like that business becomes your own. And so it's not just doing the work to do the work. It's definitely diving in as deep as possible and really trying to figure out where the weak links are and what you can do to improve things. And so just kind of owning it, I guess, and really paying attention to the details, I think is what makes a lot of the work that I do unique, because, nothing gets left undone. Every single thing that we talk about on a call, I write it down, I turn it into a task, I throw it on my calendar, I immediately connect to whoever I need to connect to so that by the time we meet again the following week, everything is in progress or finished. So there's constant progress because I run the show as if every single one of my clients is my own business. And I think that comes from owning, our own business together and understanding how important every little thing is to future success.
Yeah, what I love about what you mentioned is it ties right into our core values. You and I had a lot of fun in writing out our VTO, and the be human, ownership, infinite mindset, and Hans and Chewy it. Those were a lot of fun to come up with. And ownership to me was one of the most important ones, and taking ownership of your responsibilities and knowing that you constantly have to improve and buy in and be present. And I think that definitely speaks true to how you operate and apply your skill set to the clients that you serve. When you look at what you do and all of its detail, what is one of the impacts that you wish to have through the services that you provide to clients?
Truthfully, I think maybe I would answer this differently if you asked me again in a week, but what's kind of top of mind for me right now is that I really actually like to find growth for my clients. I think a lot of times, businesses are in very different phases, and whether it's, time that we've already reached our full potential and now we want to get more profitable, or if we're in a position where we're brand new and we're ready to grow, or we're really big but we want to get to that next level. It's really hard to actually bring somebody on board who is not originally part of the company and find ways to grow. There's a lot of things that you can try, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot of determination and a lot of deep dives with everyone to figure out every single angle you can come from, and then what's actually going to succeed, and then to look at something and say, this is why it succeeded in the first place, and this is what we can do again in the future. So an impact that I want to make, is actual sustainable growth. Because I think it's one of the hardest things to do. There's a lot of companies who offer services that we offer, but they'll do things more in a maintenance mode. And so when someone comes to me and says that they've got the resources and the hunger to really grow, and then we're able to do that, I think it's really, really fulfilling to help someone else find success where they've been having a hard time doing it for themselves. So that's where I'm led to answer that question for today.
What is something about what you do that you believe those who you serve really need to know?
This is kind of a funny one. So again, I'm in a particular kind of playful mood today, but something a woman I used to work with always used to say is that we don't wave a magic wand just because we're Amazon consultants. We don't have, the magic answer. It really just comes down to having as much experience as we do. We've had so many issues over the years of me working with Amazon that we've had to, just really dig in, call Amazon seller support for hours on end. That it's not that we wave a magic wand. It's that we've truly done the same thing so many times that we've figured out the best ways to do them. Some things can't be fixed, but just to answer that question, there's no magic answer to a lot of the things that happen on Amazon or any commerce platform. It just really takes someone who's experienced and well-versed in the lingo and, how things work to get changes and to fix things that have been going wrong, and to catch things that you might not, have known are going wrong. So it's not a magic wand. It's definitely kind of the hard work and the experience that go a long way with some of this stuff.
Well, what's great about that is that's where having ownership and a passion for what you do allows you to expand beyond what is in your tool belt and to add those techniques and strategies and new methods to apply to these problems, and then put it in the bank and wait until you need to pull the lever again and activate that strategy. So great, good job.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to turn this around back to you and kind of ask you similar questions just so the audience gets to know us a little bit better. So if you want to go ahead and start by just kind of reintroducing yourself more in depth, explaining a little bit more about who you are and what your story is, that would be great.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you and I are brother and sister. My name is Justin, and we're from a small town in Ohio. We grew up on 500-acre farm out there. And you and I both have entrepreneurs on each side of our family. And it's kind of fun to look at it as blue collar and white collar. And the difference in advertising experience that we have from both sides is knowledge that we definitely use today, right? It's good, high quality service, and knowing that the best form of marketing is when you get a referral. But then it's also knowing that why you do what you do and what you do and the features and the consistency of branding and marketing material is also important in expanding beyond your current network and offering. So in my experience at Ohio State in business school, we learned a few algorithms that allow you to test and look at it, but I really didn't get to know and firmly understand how marketing and sales is the lifeblood of a business until I got into owning my own. And then when we operated the family golf course, we really learned fast and hard what works and what doesn't work, and managing people. And then I owned a pizza franchise for a while, so I learned a lot about local SEO and ad campaigns and promotions and margins and managing teams. So in my time there, that experience really kind of formulated what we do here at Hometown Social, and really focusing on building a strong team and a company of values that works with other companies of value.
I think that's a great segue into the next question, actually. If you want to carry some of that, the company values through and answer, what is it that you do every day, and maybe how some of those values come into your day to day?
Yeah, so a lot of the things that I do day to day is on a wide spectrum of services, but I think they all tie back into marketing in general. The What I do is organize the creative process of marketing material. So whether that's a website project, if that's your funnel from your ad all the way through to your follow-up email sequences, and what your Calendly landing page looks like and what the packaging looks like for your product and what things you want to emphasize, because we start off when we with a client in really defining and building out a style guide that allows us to apply all of the features and what we do to all the different stages in their marketing. So from the creative services, right? Like we're managing social organic content, paid advertising, and then we turn around and we apply that in different ways. So that's kind of what I do every day in the sense. And the difference that makes a difference on how we go about doing that is being aware of the impact of who we're serving, much larger or much greater than just profit or revenue. I think the clients that I'm blessed to work with now, I really believe in the services. They're in IoT and financial services. And working with those clients, I realize how the spreading of the information that they have and the expertise that they have really impacts what my future vision of the world, a compelling vision that we're all included in, really is seated in the companies that we get to work with. And so that allows me to buy in more and deeper and spend the extra hours looking for services or looking for strategies and applying them.
On a similar note, talking about, really giving your all to it, what impact do you wish to have through the work that you do with some of the clients?
Yeah, I think, I know this to me doesn't necessarily change as much. Obviously, when you look at what you want the impact to be from each service specifically, we think of growth, optimization, from that sense, of the bottom line and impacting the bottom line. I want the progress that we're experiencing in technology to favor brands and companies that treat their employees well and impact the world that we live in a positive manner, and they're based on true value and not marketing gimmicks. So I want to give those companies an upper hand rather than have the companies that are just really good with sales jargon.
No, I think that's great. The answer that I had today was more specific, but you and I share a lot of similar values and goals as far as making a positive impact in the world that we live in. So I'm glad you were able to kind of express that. And a final question, what is something those who need your service need to know?
Yeah. So one of the things that you need to know and that you should definitely apply, whether you are doing paid advertising or you're doing a website project or you're just starting or you've been around for 10 years, is you need to have a style guide of some level. You need to have the basic functions, features, creative needs for your platforms. You need to have one place where you sit down and you put in the time to actually define every part of your business and how you want that message to be displayed across all of your channels. I find every business that I work with has their own version of that, but most of the time it's stored in their head, and getting that written out on paper and expanding that into their marketing materials and process is the biggest challenge. So spending the time and getting a basic fundamental style guide is what I think is important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more in really investing in that entire just creative asset list that you have is, I mean, it's going to make the difference in a lot of what you'll be able to do as far as, you know, just performance of your overall business. Having great images, having great marketing, you know, really developing a brand and a look and a feel and a value list for your company helps you to make every single decision that you'll have, you know, while you're involved with the company. So
Mhm.
I think it's definitely important right from the beginning to get that right and to spend a lot of time on it.
Mhm. Well, we've gone over on our time a little bit here today. So you guys continue to send and share with us the questions that you may have, and we look forward to doing this every Tuesday and continuing to add value to you guys in your business. So, thanks for joining, and we will see you next week.